guys, welcome back to my channel. My goodness, has it been a while since I've uploaded a video. I've been on a YouTube break for about a month now, but I'm super excited to be back and creating content for you guys. As usual, today's video is my June plan with me, where I set up all my spreads in my bullet journal. I was stressing so much while thinking about this theme idea because June is my birthday month and I like to put a lot of pressure on important days. Before I get into this video, don't forget to go down and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and also comment below I subscribe so I know that you did. I already knew when planning out a theme that I wanted to do something with a lot of colors because I really enjoyed in May when I did all the neon colors. I felt like spreads are a lot easier when I had a much larger color palette to work with, and so that was definitely a priority when planning this theme. However, I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do, if I wanted to go something water-y. Yes, that's water-y. Or if I want to do something sky related, if I want to do something food related. Honestly, so many different ideas went through my mind, but I finally came up with this idea that I've kind of been percolating in my brain for a couple months now, but never had the courage to do it. A clouds, stars, celestial, purpley aesthetic theme that I wanted to create. Overall, I wouldn't say it's my favorite theme of all time, but it's definitely something and better than the ideas I had before. And I'm also really happy to start making weekly spreads and other fancy quote pages and things with this color palette because I'm kind of in love. Anyway, so what exactly am I doing now that I'm halfway over with the cover page? I decided to draw a classic sky doodle here with the moon, clouds, and a paper airplane because honestly, why not? My color palette for this month is basically a dark turquoise, a lilac purple, and then a light teal, and so I'm using those colors to color in the clouds and do the lettering for this month. Last month, if you saw that plan with me, was a graffiti theme, and I had a lot of chunky lines and big bold colors, and although I wanted to keep the large color scheme carrying into this month, I did want to tone down and make it more of a delicate and minimal theme. Don't get me wrong, there's still going to be a lot of doodles throughout the pages, but I didn't want the pages to be screaming at me and instead just have a nice inviting look to them. That's why when I outlined each of these doodles, I used a smaller fine liner and lighter colors. After coloring the clouds though, I decided it still needed a little more so it didn't look like a coloring book, so I decided to add some light shadows by just going over another layer with the same color where the moon or other clouds might block the light from each other. I also colored in the stars with the same color that I used for the lettering of the title June, and also used gray to shade in the moon and the paper airplane. One mistake I made on this page, I think, was drawing this large drop shadow for June. I felt like the letters were too small and close together and didn't have enough room for a drop shadow like this, so I eventually took it away on the different pages. Also, just as an FYI, right now all the clouds are looking pretty simple, but later after I filmed this video, I went in and added extra little bumps in each of the clouds, and so they were looking a little more 3D and less like a coloring page. Honestly, I'm very happy that I just came up with a theme at all for this month and made something that I'm proud of. So I'm pretty happy with it, and let's move on to the next spread, which is going to be my calendar page. Like I said at the beginning of this video, I was taking a YouTube and Etsy break for about the entirety of May. It was final season for me, and I really wanted to focus on my exams and studying to make sure I got good grades. And so I didn't want to put too much pressure on myself to do content creation. However, now it's basically summertime and I have lots of free time to work on content creation, which I'm very happy about because I really missed making sticker designs and videos for you guys. As far as YouTube goes, I do have a couple plans for videos that I want to make this coming month, and I plan to upload every Friday and possibly twice a week, maybe if I'm really feeling excited every once in a while, you know, maybe, we'll see. But if you guys have any video ideas that you want me to create in the future or continuations of a series that I've already started, make sure to comment down below because I always want to make sure I'm creating content that you guys want to see. Also, as far as Etsy goes, I have a couple new sticker designs that'll be coming out soon. I'm not going to do a June update like I have done a monthly update for the past couple of months since my Etsy shop opened, but I am going to be adding separate designs in individually once I finish them. Less pressure on me so I don't have to make one big shop update, and I can just add and delete things when I need to, but of course I'll inform you guys and still let you know when a new sticker design is in. Here on the screen is the June kit that I created for this month. It's a weekly spread kit that's perfect for making any weekly spread and also happens to match the theme that I made here. If you want to get this along with any other sticker design that I've made before, my Etsy shop will be linked below so you can go see it. On this page, I outlined everything in the black fine liner just like I did on the cover page, but I decided that I didn't want to do all black, so I used the same turquoise color that I did for the lettering on the cover page and on the top of the June calendar to outline this small little calendar. Now that it's summer and I'm not going to be very busy, I decided it's the perfect time to bring back the smaller calendar. I was getting kind of tired of the full 2-page one, and it seems so much more aesthetic, in my opinion, to have a smaller calendar on one side and some planning on the other. It also makes it easier personally for me to be more productive and just have everything laid out on one spread, and I'll have to flip pages to see all the planning that I want to do for 1 month. Speaking of which, on the right hand of the page, I'm going to be lettering these titles: Goals, Content, and Master To-Do List. Unfortunately, I think the goals and content lettering was a little too close to the drawing, but it'll have to do. These sections are just ways for me to do general planning for the month and prep anything that I need to do for my YouTube, Etsy, or any studying for future tests, although technically it is June, so I'm not really testing, but you'll get the idea. Just overall things and planning that I want to do for the month. I got a lot of inspiration from this theme from the YouTuber LEELA Journals, and I love her channel so much, so I will link it down below so you guys can check her out. Her May theme was also kind of clouds related. Although I changed up quite a few things, I did take some inspiration from her. So here's a picture on the screen showing you what really sparked my idea for this theme. Slightly off topic, but like I mentioned earlier, it is my birthday in June, and so I was going to get myself, or possibly ask if I feel cheap, for a set of a Hoo alcohol brush markers. If you don't know what these are, they're obviously alcohol markers, and so I can't use them in my bullet journal because they will bleed through even 160 GSM paper, but they're still art markers and are great for blending and drawing if you're using the right paper. I've been wanting to try these for a while because I've been inspired by some YouTubers that I've seen doing these art videos with them, and so I'm hoping to be able to test them out on a video for you guys and possibly do some art with them if I'm feeling really confident. If you'd like to see something like this, like a marker test or some art videos, again, comment down below so I can make sure to make them. Coloring in all these clouds was kind of a tedious process because I had to make sure none of the purple and blue overlapped, but if you can't tell, I used the purple to do most of the clouds in the background because it is a slightly darker color. I didn't really have one light source either, I just kind of picked at the top of the page, and so whenever I did all the shadows, I just made sure that they were closer to the bottom of each cloud and blocked by the clouds that were in front of them, if that makes any sense. Same thing for the airplane and the moon. I wanted to make sure that all the shading was on the bottom half of these shapes. Because I want this theme to be dreamy and light and airy, I added the highlights on each of the clouds and the lettering. Although small little touches, I do feel like it lightens the page a little, especially for the title, June. Anyway, so this simple calendar page is done, and let's move on to the last page in the setup, which is my tracker page. I've been struggling quite a bit with tracker pages recently. I used to do a mood tracker and a habit tracker every month, but then I decided to change things up and do a sleep tracker and then a gratitude tracker and then back to a sleep tracker, all while keeping the habit tracker in. So I've been very inconsistent with my trackers, so to speak, but habit trackers stay the same almost every month. For one thing I like to play with is the layout. So here on the left is my habit tracker, where I'm going to be using a diagonal shape to align them across the page. And then on the right is what I'm calling a quote-unquote health tracker, which is basically a combination of a sleep and energy/motivation tracker. I thought about doing a mood tracker, but in the past, the reasons why I've gone back and forth on it is because it doesn't really benefit me to know what my mood was. Instead, I feel like it correlates really well with my productivity, but then the problem comes in with me being overwhelmed by trying to be too productive and then losing motivation because I'm pushing myself too hard. And so I figured just a energy or motivation tracker was the perfect in-between. One way to track if I'm feeling awake and motivated in the morning, even if I'm not getting a lot of things done. This probably will also correlate with my sleep. The more sleep I get, the better I feel, the more motivated I feel, the more productive I feel, the happier I feel. And with a tracker like this, it's just a lot more general way to track all the things that I need to for my health for this month. And of course, for the habits, everything's pretty much the same as I do every month. Tracking water intake, reading the Bible, flossing, working out, face care, and vitamins. Nothing too special. Same thing on the cover page. I wanted to outline each of the boxes in the green, that way it didn't seem too black and heavy on this page. As for a subtitle for this setup, I was thinking a lot about it while I was recording, and I realized that most of the titles were just all in green, and I didn't plan out for a subtitle. Last month, I remember distinctly that I used a very fun graffiti font that I'd never had before, and although I enjoyed playing with it, I decided to go back to the basics and brush letter this month. However, last month I used black lettering as a subtitle, so I was really confused as to what I wanted to do this one. Unfortunately, I just ended up going back to the basics again and doing black calligraphy for each of the titles of the habits, and later the quote that's on the right of the page. A little uncreative maybe, but it did the job, and honestly, you can't skip the classics. One thing I probably regret about this setup was coloring in the stars in the green. I felt like it was maybe a little dark, and I wanted to spread the turquoisey green color out a little more throughout the pages, but I feel like at least the stars may have been left lighter, and that way it had been more like they were glowing and less like pendants hanging from the sky. Nevertheless, I do think it worked in spreading the green color, and so although it might not be too realistic, it's not a bad idea. Also, if you've noticed, I added diamond shapes and little sparkles around each of the pages, and this just kind of adds to the celestial and magic effect that I was going for when planning out this theme. At the end of the setup, I decided to also change the direction of this quote, which is actually a Bible verse. At first I wanted to do it vertically, but I decided the layout would be too awkward, and so I flipped the page over and did it horizontally. The quote says, "He who began good work in you will carry it on until the day of Christ." I felt like this was a very good quote and kind of motivational for me, which is perfect on my health and motivation, etc. tracker. Anyway, so with that little detail done, we have finished this setup. I hope you guys enjoyed watching me fill out my bullet journal theme for June and work through the small little crises until we came out with this celestial sky theme. If you haven't already, don't forget to go down, hit the subscribe button again and join the family, and also click that notification bell so you'll get notified every time I post a new video. Anyways, that's it for me. I'm going to sign off. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week with a new video. Toodles!